Hello everyone, myself Mr. Jangle Sankit Surendra, lecturer from Mula Education Society's Mula Rural Institute of Pharmacy, Sone. Today we will discuss about the chapter Posology. This chapter is generally discussed for the second year D pharmacy students. Contents of this chapter. This chapter contains the introduction, factors influencing dose, means the factors which are affecting the dose, and calculation of the dosage. Learning outcomes. The learner will be able to understand what do we mean by posology, factors influencing dose, and various calculations which takes place for the various calculations of the doses. Now starting with the introduction. In introduction, the posology word is derived from the Greek word known as posos, meaning how much, and logos, meaning science. So it is defined as a posology is a branch of medical sciences which deals with the dose or quantity of a drugs which can be administered to a patient to get the desired pharmacological actions. Means it is nothing but a branch of medical science in which we can calculate the quantity of the dose which should be administered by a patient to get the desired therapeutic effect. The dose of a drug cannot be fixed rigidly because there are so many factors which influences the dose or which are responsible for the doses. These factors are age, condition of the patient, severity of the disease, tolerances, both natural and acquired, idiosyncrasy, route of administration, formulation used, etc. The official doses, that means those doses which are given in the pharmacopoeia, represents the average range of quantities suitable for adults which administered orally within 24 hours. When other route of administration are followed, the relevant appropriate dose is given. It is the responsibility of the prescriber regarding the amount of a drug to be prescribed or the frequency at which the drug to be administered. But before dispensing any prescription, it becomes the duty of pharmacist to satisfy himself that the overdose has not been prescribed. This can be confirmed either from the prescriber or by consulting the pharmacopoeia. Now, factors influencing dose. The optimum dose of a drug which produces a desired therapeutic effect varies from person to person because every individual varies both in the degree and character of the response produced by the drug. Due to this reason, the doses of official preparation of drugs are expressed in the form of range which gives the therapeutic effect. The dose range is usually based on the average requirements of an adult patient. Now, there are the following factors which influences the dose. In that, first one is the age, second one is the sex, third one is the body weight, fourth one is the route of administration, fifth one is the time of administration, environmental factor, emotional factor, presence of disease, accumulation, additive effect, synergism, antagonism, idiosyncrasy, tolerance, tachyphylaxis, and metabolic disturbances. Now we will see a detailed factors influencing dose, starting with the age. The pharmacokinetics of many drugs changes with the age. So, while determining the dose of a drug, the age of an individual is of great significance. Children and old people need lesser amount of drug than the normal adult dose because they are unable to excrete the drugs to that extent of adults. Children can tolerate relatively large amount of belladonna, digitalis and ethanol, whereas elderly patients are more sensitive to some drug effects such as hypnotics, tranquilizers, which may produce confusion states in them. Second one is the sex. Women do not always respond to the action of a drug in the same manner as it is done in men. Morphine and barbiturates may produce more excitement before sedation in women. Special care should be taken when drugs are administered during menstruation, pregnancy, and lactation. The strong purgatives, such as aloes, should be avoided during menstruation. Similarly, the drugs which may be stimulate the uterine smooth muscle, example, drastic purgatives, antimalarial drugs, and ergot alkaloids, are contraindicated during pregnancy. There are certain drugs which, on administration to the mother, are capable of crossing the placenta and affecting the fetus. The example, alcohol, barbiturates, narcotics, and non-narcotic analgesics, etc. During lactation, the drug like antihistamines, morphine, and tetracycline, which are excreted in a milk, should be avoided or given very cautiously to the mothers who are breastfeeding to the babies. Now, the third factor is the body weight. The average dose is mentioned either in terms of mg per kg body weight or as a total single dose for an adult weighing between 50 to 100 kg. However, the dose expressed in this fashion may not apply in cases of obese patients. Children and malnourished patients should be calculated according to the body weight. Now, fourth factor is the route of administration. Intravenous doses of drugs are usually smaller than the oral doses because the drug administered intravenously enters the bloodstream directly. Due to this reason, the onset of drug action is quick with intravenous route, and this might enhance the chances of drug toxicity. The effectiveness of a drug formulation is generally controlled by the route of administration. Fifth one is the time of administration. The presence of food in the stomach delays the absorption of drugs. The drugs are more rapidly absorbed from the empty stomach. So, the amount of drug which is effective when taken before a meal may not be that much effective when taken during or after meals. The irritating drugs are better tolerated if administered after meals. Example, iron, arsenic, and cod liver oil should be always given after meals. Now, the seventh factor is the emotional factors. The personality and the behavior of the physician may influence the effect of drug, especially the drugs which are intended for the use in a psychosomatic disorder. The females are more emotional than males and requires less dose of certain drugs. Inert dosage forms called as placebos, which resembles the actual medicament in the physical properties, are known to produce therapeutic benefit in diseases like angina pectoris and bronchial asthma. Eighth factor is the presence of diseases. The drugs like barbiturates and chlorpromazine may produce unusually prolonged effect in a patient having liver cirrhosis, and the streptomycin is excreted mainly by the kidney may prove toxic if the kidney of the patient is not working properly. During fever, a patient can tolerate high doses of antipyretics than a normal person. Another factor is the accumulation. The drugs which are slowly excreted may build up a sufficient high concentration in the body and produce toxic symptoms if it is repeatedly administered for a long time. Means what happens in this accumulation? Those drugs which are generally taken in a body regularly, due to that what happens, they does not get excreted from the body rapidly and they get deposited into the body, and due to that repeatedly administered and getting deposited into the body, the toxicity may get produced. Example is the digitalis, imidine and heavy metals. This occurs due to accumulative effect of the drug. The cumulative effects are usually produced by slow excretion, degradation, and rapid absorption of drugs. Sometimes a cumulative effect is desired in the drugs like phenobarbital in the treatment of epilepsy. Now, the 10th factor is the additive effect. Now, in an additive effect, when the total pharmacological action of two or more drugs administered together is equivalent to sum of their individual pharmacological action, the phenomenon is called as an additive effect. Means what they are saying here, when you are taking two drugs which are having the same pharmacological action forward to increase the pharmacological action, but they shows the individual they shows the pharmacological action of only one drug or equivalent to only one drug. Means the best example will be 1 plus 1 is equal to or is equivalent to 1 only. Means they are showing only the effect which is calculated for the or which is given by the one drug only. Example, a combination of ephedrine and aminophylline in the treatment of bronchial asthma. Means when you are taking ephedrine and aminophylline in the treatment of bronchial asthma, at that time it is showing the action of only one drug, or of action of, if in the combination they are showing the effect of only one drug. Means rather by taking two drugs you are getting only the effect of one drug only. That is known as the additive effect. 11th one is the synergism. Means when two or more drugs are used in the combination form, their action is increased. The phenomenon is called as the synergism. Means what happens, when desired therapeutic result is needed, it is difficult to achieve it with a single drug or with a single drug at a time. So two or more drugs are used in the combination form for increasing their action is called as a synergism. Means what happens in this case, when you are requiring a fast action or large action and which is not shown by the one drug, at that time the combination of drug has been taken and which boosts your pharmacological action or which boosts the pharmacological action of another drug. It is known as the synergism. Best example will be the 1 plus 1 is equals to 2 or equivalent to 2. It is known as the synergism. Now example of it, procaine and adrenaline in combination increases the duration of action of the procaine. Means when you are taking a procaine and adrenaline in a combination, at that time due to this combination the action or duration action of the procaine is getting increased due to the adrenaline drug. Another one is the antagonism. Antagonism, when the action of one drug is opposed by the other drug on the same physiological system, is known as the drug antagonism. The use of antagonistic responses to the drug is valuable in the treatment of poisoning. Example, milk of magnesia is given in acid poisoning, where alkaline effect of milk of magnesia neutralizes the effect of acid poisoning. When adrenaline and acetylcholine are given together, they neutralize the effect of each other due to the antagonism, because adrenaline is a vasoconstrictor and acetylcholine is a vasodilator. The best example will be 1 minus 1 is equals to 0. Now the another factor is the idiosyncrasy. It is also known as the allergy. Idiosyncrasy is an extraordinary response to the drug which is different from its characteristics pharmacological action is called as the idiosyncrasy. Now, this word has been replaced by the term drug allergy. Example, small quantity of aspirin may cause a gastric hemorrhage and a small dose of quinine may produce ringing in the ears. Some persons are sensitive to penicillin and sulfonamide because they produces a toxic symptoms. Means what they are saying in the idiosyncrasy, when you are taking a drug, that drug is showing an extraordinary response on the body which is different from its characteristics which of pharmacological action. Means it is not of that pharmacological action, it is showing the another extraordinary pharmacological action. It is known as the idiosyncrasy. Now the example will be the itching. Means when you are taking any one of the tablet, at that time itching may produce or allergy may produce into the body, that is known as the idiosyncrasy. Now another example is the tolerance. When an unusually large dose of a drug is required to elicit an effect ordinarily produced by a normal therapeutic dose of the drug, the phenomenon is termed as drug tolerance. Means when you are requiring a large dose for to produce the effect or to elicit the effect than ordinary drug, at that time it is known as the drug tolerance. Example, smokers can tolerate nicotine. Alcohol can tolerate large quantity of alcohol. Now, this drug tolerance is of two types, true tolerance and pseudo tolerance. Now, true tolerance means which is produced by oral and parenteral administration of the drug. Means that tolerance which is produced by oral and parenteral administration of the drugs. And another one is the pseudo tolerance which is only produced by the oral route of administration. Another 15th factor, tachyphylaxis. It has been observed that when certain drugs are administered repeatedly at short intervals, the cell receptor gets blocked up and pharmacological response to that particular drug is decreased. The decreased response cannot be reversed by increasing the dose. The phenomenon is known as the tachyphylaxis or acute tolerance. Means what happens when you are taking any one drug repeatedly, you are administering the any one of the drug. Due to the repeatedly administration, what happens, the response or that cell receptor are getting blocked, and when cell receptors are getting blocked, at that time the pharmacological response of that drug is getting decreased, and that decreased pharmacological response can't be increased by taking a large quantity of that dose. It is known as the tachyphylaxis. For example, ephedrine, when in repeated dose at short intervals in the treatment of bronchial asthma, may produce a very less response due to tachyphylaxis. Similarly, drugs like amphetamine, cocaine, and nitrates behave in these ways. Now, the last factor influencing dose is the metabolic disturbances. Changes in a water electrolyte balance and acid-base balance, body temperature, or other physiological factors may modify the effects of drugs. Salicylates reduces body temperature only in case an individual has rise in a body temperature. They have no antipyretic effect if the body temperature is normal. The absorption of iron from GIT is maximum if the individual has an iron deficiency anemia. Means salicylates are reducing the body temperature only when there is a rise in a body temperature. But when if there is no antipyretic effect or your body temperature is normal, at that time this salicylates does not show any type of the effect. Now starting with the another most important point, calculation of the doses. The dose of a drug given in the or represents the average maximum quantity of drugs which can be administered to an adult orally within the 24 hours. When other route of administrations are followed, the dose is adjusted accordingly. The doses are calculated in proportionate to the weight, age, in proportionate to body weight and surface area of the patient. Now we will see the first point, dose which is proportionate to the weight. There are the number of methods by which the dose of a child can be calculated from the adult dose by Young's formula, Dilling's formula, Fright's formula and Cowling's formula. Now we will see the first formula, Young's formula. This formula is used for calculating the doses of children in between 4 to 20 years of the age. This formula is used for calculating the doses for children under 12 years of the age. Now the formula, dose for the child is equals to age in a years divided by age in a years plus 12 into adult dose. Another one is the Dilling's formula. In a Dilling's formula, the formula is used for calculating the doses for children in between 4 to 20 years of age. This formula is considered better because it is easier and quick to calculate the dose. Now, this Dilling's formula is equals to dose for the child is equals to age in a years divided by 20 into adult dose. Third is the Fright's formula. This formula is used for calculating the dose for infants up to 2 years. Dose for infants is equals to age in a months divided by 150 into adult dose. Now starting with the another point, doses proportionate to the body weight. They are calculated by the Clerk's formula. The Clerk's formula is used to calculate the doses for the children according to their body weight. The formula is dose for the child is equals to child's weight in a kg divided by 70 into adult dose, or it is also calculated in a pounds. Dose for the child is equals to child's weight in a pounds divided by 150 into adult dose. Third point is the dose proportionate to the surface area. The calculation of child doses according to the surface area is more satisfactory and appropriate rather than the methods based on age. The method is more complicated than the method based on age. The method is based on the following formula. Percentage of adult dose is equals to surface area of child divided by surface area of adult into 100. The body surface area is calculated from the height and weight of the child. It is better to depend on a handy reference book rather than on one's memory while prescribing the dose for the children. Here we are ending with the chapter Posology. It also consists of a veterinary dosage in which factors which are also influencing the dose for drugs in animals are similar as that of the mains. So you can refer the factors which are calculated or influencing dose of the mains or humans for the animals also. Thank you very much.